Stock market is tanking and Bitcoin is holding. Are we witnessing a historic decoupling between crypto and the other tech stocks? Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm your host, DXB, and I do feel like there is one chart no one's talking about, and this is the US government bond 10-year yield. Now, again, we don't need to be scientific about this, but for me, the 10-year yield drops to 3.5%. This is what it's going to signal, okay? Lower inflation expectations, price, of course, inflation should be cooling and be under control. That gives central banks like the Fed room to pause, cut rates. And of course, it will be incredibly what we need right now. Again, easing of financial conditions. Okay, lower yield means borrowing costs will go down massively. Mortgages, business loans, margin debt get cheaper. Of course, this supports risk taking, and of course, speculation flows back into the market, especially for crypto and tech stocks. Okay, and number three, of course, flight to safety. Or the rate cuts. Investors obviously should be rotated into treasury stocks. Okay. And of course, expecting recession, a major slowdown, the demand pushes yield down. But ironically, this also means risk assets can pump. Okay. Now, of course, traders will be front running this. And all of this means for crypto, if you look at this, this is a beautiful, beautiful downtrend. And the significance of this chart should not be underestimated. And of course, that means if this is what's going to happen, okay, and we've got this situation, as you can see here, in this downtrend, and of course we come down. Of course, we touched here as well, and then we come towards this level. This is probably about right, 3.5% over here. Okay, if this happens, which I expect to happen, in line with this trend line, it means that the summertime would be the pivot, meaning that we may see a major rally in stocks in crypto. Okay, now what you're starting to see, and if we look at this on the daily even, what you're starting to see with Bitcoin right now is a completely different, middle finger. We may actually catch up over the weekend and of course do what the stock market has been doing unbelievably, because this is the tariffs. I mean, this is now more volatile. When the tariffs were happening, this is the VIX volatility index is now approaching the same levels as COVID, right? This was literally back in the COVID time. So yeah, the tariffs 1, tariffs 2, and you can see here, this is absolutely unprecedented. The levels are incredible. The Nasdaq enters a bear market after falling 21% from record. S&P plunges 6% in worst rout since March 2020. Pictures across the board, guys. Pictures absolutely across the board. And here's a tweet from Benjamin Coward. Usually when stocks fall and Bitcoin doesn't, everyone starts noticing how well Bitcoin is doing and people start talking about it. Then shortly after, Bitcoin falls too. Yeah, you can't make this up, which is true. And this is why we're in a weekend pump. Of course, we are doing way better than all the other assets, including Ethereum versus silver is something that I looked at, and we'll talk about that. But here's a tweet from Raoul Pal. Okay, people are yet to understand that we have a macro hedge fund manager running the treasury. Okay, not an ex-central banker. He deeply understands liquidity, and this is quite important, and impacts and how to drive financial conditions to drive liquidity and how to in turn drive the economy and markets. His entire strategy is to lower the 3 legs of financial conditions: dollar rates, oil, and of course the business cycle, or ISM. The GMI Financial Conditions Index is screaming higher conditions are loosening, as is global M2 money supply. or even more importantly, GMI global total liquidity, the effects should kick in the next week or two, and the recovery in asset prices and economic data should be sharp in the coming weeks and should be persistent. Okay, so that is absolutely, that's on the money right there. This is what we are looking at. Again, in the short term, asset managers like Kathy Wood, of course, the scaremongering is out there. People should not be investing, and she says here we're in the eye of a storm. But President Trump cares about if he cares about his legacy, which we know he does, or the midterm election campaign season, which will start this fall, then the last leg of this rolling recession is going to give him and the Fed more degrees of freedom to pivot. This is what I'm saying, people. People need to relax and just get their coins in slowly. Okay. Major single day S&P drops in history. We've got, man, oh man, oh man. .com bubble, 5.8%. September 11, 2001, 4.9%. October 2008, financial crisis, 9%. August 2011, US credit downgrade, 6.7%. March 2020, COVID, 12%. April 4, 2025, Trump tariffs, 6%. We have gone below 9/11, okay? .com crash, okay? US credit almost equal to US credit downgrade. But these are major global events, and look what the tariffs have done. So understanding this, and again, refreshing everything, starting scratch. Think like you're in a bear market. You are in a bear market. You're buying quality. You're buying 100x gems. Everything is on the table right now, okay? Because this was once in a lifetime event. I'm telling you now, this is half of COVID. This is equal to the US credit downgrade. It's almost the same, 3% less than the global financial crisis. Lieberman, brothers, all the Bank of Scotland, everything went absolutely. Bitcoin was born out of the 2007 to 8 financial crisis. Money management became different. So what you're seeing right now is a global once-in-a-lifetime event. And these have all been, many of you weren't even born when these things were happening, but that's what it is. This is not a drill. This is a real reset of the global economic structure. Okay. So if you look at this, again, when you see this level of volatility, will Bitcoin follow this? And the answer is it always does. Like Ben Cohen's tweet, even though we're doing extremely well. And I did post a deep article last night into the group, the DXB Market Insight, Science of Decoupling. And I said, look, today we saw something rare, something that deserves our attention. While the S&P 500 took a major hit, Bitcoin remained surprisingly strong. That kind of divergence is not common, especially not in a macro environment where traditional finance typically leads sentiment across the board. We are not entirely out of the woods yet, especially with the weekend approaching. Historically, Bitcoin tends to catch up to, of course, equity sell-offs with slight delay, particularly when institutional desks are closed. But so far, crypto is showing a remarkable strength. ETH versus silver, this is quite a statement. So sometimes in crypto, we're in a complete bubble. This is one of the more fascinating observations I've made in the past few days. ETH has performed silver in recent sessions. Silver has completely crashed. This isn't just a data point, it's a potential shift in the overall narrative on how we see digital assets. Traditionally, precious metals like silver, gold have been the hedges or go-to in a time of uncertainty. You would have noticed that gold doing all-time highs after all-time highs after all-time highs in the last 3 months. Okay, this is no accident. That's a signal. Is this a decoupling? Question mark. We're not calling it confirmed yet, but could be the beginning of a crypto decoupling. Well, that's going to be a long kind of debate and discussion. But I have shown you the most important chart to me right now, or one of them anyway, is looking at the 10-year treasury, seeing where it's headed. And we can see from this trend line, this is absolutely bang on the money here. You know, this is where it's going to come to. I do believe the multiple touches is as clean as daylight, as you can see there, the 10-year yield. And falling to, I would say, you know, this falling to the levels that it should fall to, should be able to have financial markets stabilized. And of course, we will be in for a massive, massive year. Now, in addition to that, I talked about the total crypto market yesterday. And of course, we still remain in that green box. That's okay. We need to be there. And again, the Bitcoin dominance is the Bitcoin dominance. Has absolutely been searching, and we are heading towards the upper levels. We broke through this, you know, ascending triangle. I was thinking maybe we'll break down here and smash below, but we have actually smashed through that. So if we look at this now, you know, the ultimate scrutiny here is going to be, will we find this as level of support and then move up to the danger zone levels, that these are uncharted waters. And of course, Bitcoin dominance, the last time historically it's been up there was all the way back in 2019. All right. Bitcoin dominance here peaking at 73%, 2020. All right. December 29, 2020. And then look at the monumental crash it had after that. So guys, look, we are, when it comes to altcoins, like I've been saying, quality over quantity. And again, this is a particular time where you can actually get good level of good projects. Yesterday, we talked about the SUI ecosystem. Again, there are gems there, undoubtedly, that are way undervalued. I did see one of your comments about what project was it? Bluefin. Now, the thing about Bluefin is it has a, just to answer that question, Bluefin has a steady volume of $4 million. This is where all the NFTs flow through in the SUI ecosystem. I do believe this is a move protocol. Both SUI and I think Aptos may be using this, like Cetus as well. But yeah, Bluefin is, sorry, not Bluefin, Blue Move, sorry. Bluefin is another one, and which is another very, very good underrated project on the SUI ecosystem. Blue Move, on the other hand, the non-financial, yeah, this is it. This is what, $3 million market cap. It's more degen. I mean, in terms of this is where all the NFTs will move through in that SUI ecosystem. Again, $3 million market cap. You've got to remember, NFTs are not a narrative. But what I would say is Bluefin, which is the one that we just looked at right now. This one, a financial network with unparalleled performance. This is a play. Make no mistake about it. All right. Lowest consensus latency. This is, of course, Bluefin's leadership team has a diverse experience from the likes of Meta, Goldman Sachs. You've got to check this out. This is a supreme project. Way undervalued, in my opinion. So total volume, 5 billion, 62 million today. And of course, you can read the docs and you can actually read what Bluefin is. But it's a decentralized order book-based exchange built for professional first-time traders, focuses on security, transparency, and so on and so on. So yeah, this is a really good, DeFi play on the SUI exchange. Financial networks paralyzed. I guess if you look at this, and if we compare this to, say, for example, Arthur Hayes' BSX, which unfortunately it has horrendous tokenomics. So what you have here is a circulating supply of 198, but initially was dumped quite badly. Having said that, they did raise a base funding through the Coinbase fund. And this is where a lot of so Bluefin and of course you know, the, what do you call, BSX are just literally, look, pro spot aggregator infrastructure. So this is, I would say, if you like hyperliquid, then this is the kind of alpha you need to explore. This is a $2 million market cap, base degen play, can do 100x, can go to zero. Of course, Bluefin on the other side is a more well-rounded project with a very, very good DEX volume. So I hope that answers your question. And of course, anything on SUI, anything on base, these are the two places to farm right now, in my opinion. All right. Not financial advice, of course. You've got to really do some good research. But $20 million market cap on Bluefin and for steady $4 million volume. Again, there's SUI Lend, Navi Protocol, but I do like the Bluefin interface. I do like their product. The price has obviously been launched. And again, TVL here is $82 million. Really, really good project. Whenever you see a TVL that's bigger than the market cap, that tells you something. Now, in terms of exchange listings, of course, you could buy it off Turbos, you could buy it off CTES, you could buy it off Gate.io, HTX, BitGet, and all of the above. All right. Anyway, guys, I hope you liked the video. There's a lot of alpha there. I'm treating this like I'm starting in crypto today. I'm literally not kidding when I tell you I'm trying to put as much into certain places as I can, because I know one last shot at greatness. And again, a stock market recovery, crypto recovery is very likely, but we have to wait and see. From now till the summer, hold on to your hats. This winter, the winter is coming. Take care, guys. God bless.